Now that we know where we're building and what we're building end to end, let's focus on the details of what we've completed so far through the lens of the construction document set. So far, we've built a portion of the fiberglass foundation, which will hold the platform and the coconuts above. And we've also started to build and almost completed the construction of this L component of the fish farm. Now, these two are foundational to the project. The L will hold the coconut platform in the later phases once we start those construction, and the fiberglass will hold the platform of the coconut so that we can connect it to the L later. Now let's focus on one of the two key components that we've built so far. The fiberglass flotation device originally was planned to be built on mainland and then dragged to the site. But after speaking to some of the boat builders and local communities, we realized that it is within our best interest not to do that because of the odor of fiberglass, and we wanted to really be we didn't want to disturb the community because of it emits chemical odors and things like that, and we didn't want to disrupt the community, so we built it on the platform itself. There's going to be 3 different fiberglass flotation devices. 2 of them are going to be similar, and one of them in the middle is going to be different. So the one in the middle is 4 feet wide, but all 3 of them are 3 foot 6 inches in height. Once we finish wrapping the perimeter, we're going to go inside the fiberglass flotation device and then wrap the wood framing with 2 layers of fiberglass so that it adds more lateral stability, and also it prevents some of the force that's coming in from the side since it is a long structure. Once that's complete and dried, we close the top. We also add some openings to allow us in the event that water does get in, which we highly doubt it will, but in the event that it does, we have a way to drain out some of that water. And then once that opening is complete, we then go in and wrap around the entire flotation device with 2 more layers of woven fiberglass mat and let it dry. Once that piece is complete and dried, we go in and actually paint it with special fiberglass marine grade paint. First coat, we paint in white, and then the second and third coat, we actually paint in 2 different colors. The bottom half is red, the second half is white. The red paint is more resistant to oysters and clams attaching to the fiberglass, which ultimately over time will add weight to the fiberglass structure. And over time it will submerge the fiberglass farther down. And then essentially the way we fix that is we hire a scuba diver to scrape the oysters or clams that attach to it over time. Once we finished the first, we ended up pushing it onto the water to test its buoyancy, how much it floats. You can see that currently it's only about 2 inches out of the 3 foot 6 inches submerged to the water, which is expected because we don't have any other weight on it. You can see that we built these diagonally extruded wood was wrapped around the fiberglass. We're going to use that as a way to brace the wood that's going to hold the platform and on top. Also, you can see that we added these fiberglass wrappings so that it can essentially hold the wood framing on top. Once we start the framing for the wood flooring, we will put the wood inside and then wrap it with fiberglass to lock it, and then we will screw and fasten everything. Now let's focus on the second piece of the key construction that we completed for this milestone. We will primarily focus on this outside perimeter piece, the L. Currently, in its current state, it was really broken down. It was just really missing a lot of the bins, the flotation bins that keeps its structural integrity. And so it was very important that we updated this piece first. This is standard construction of most flotation platforms, at least in Malaysia. The typical construction material flotation device are the blue bins. They're relatively cheap, so you can buy a lot. And we essentially line them up around the perimeter of any exposed edges. and then we frame around it, ensuring that the blue bins are held intact while floating without physically attaching to it. Now, we also took existing blue bins and we tried to clean as much as possible. Some of them did have leaks. For the ones that are still usable, we did spray foam insulation inside of it just so that it becomes more waterproof for the ones that we were using. But ultimately, we were only able to reuse about 10 of the existing ones. The rest of them we had to dispose and then buy new to infill the remaining gaps. Once we've laid out the framing, we would tie a rope around the blue bins so that it stays secure within the framing itself. But within the rope, we also added a plastic tube around the rope that would be submerged in the water. Now we've laid out all the blue bins on top of the framing. The next thing is we will lift this up and then flip it over and then put it in the water and then attach it to more framing. And then we also had to move some of the fish that were already in there. Fortunately, in the outside, there's only one section where there was 1 or 2 fish, and we moved that to a different containment towards the inside of the fish farm openings. One thing that we had to do that was unique was we had to build a custom hinge that will allow each piece to move independently but still stay secure. So we built a custom 1-inch thick steel plate that can move on its own. We have until the end of January to finish phase 1, which is essentially the fiberglass platform. As you can see, we're well along the way. We'll be finished by then. And we have until the mid-March to finish phase 2. As you can see, we've already started a good portion of it. And the next thing is to add the Coconest platform. We are very excited for Milestone 2 and continuing to build out this Coconest drifting in the sea project.